Hi. So, uh, thinking we're gonna do another uh, Avaricium analysis video. So this time, my idea is to explore, using farms versus like opening with farms versus opening with towns. So I've generally been thinking that, lately I've been having the feeling that this idea of just going pure towns and purely going for build range is a good idea. But of course, uh, you know, building farms kind of it pays off in the long run. If you don't have everything get destroyed, right? So I think the farms approach is like it's a more defensive idea. So the question is, could you build your farms and defend them long enough to get into the late game? So here we have blue opening with farm and red opening with four towns. So we could kind of explore each side. Going starting with farms and the other side starting with towns and see what happens there. But yeah, so a couple of ideas as blue. Uh, so one is to do. So I think we're gonna start with, investing all the farms into one nobility like this. So the idea is going. So I think this is kind of like the most uh, direct approach, right? You build all four of your farms, and you're gonna go forward. Now this to me seems. I don't know if it's like that good. Okay, like the big downside to farms to this is that maybe you're going to get trapped. So this kind of goes and tries to claim the space, to avoid getting trapped as quick as possible. So we have something like this. So what could red do? Let's say red, completes the towns over here, and then goes. I mean, doesn't really necessarily have to complete the towns, I guess. So for example, one, and worst case scenario puts down what, two mercenaries, using the build range of this nobility, and then what? Well, then nothing really. I mean, okay, what could you do? Honestly, not much. Uh, yeah. So that's not that great for red in this position. Um, well, what do I mean? I mean that first of all, you can't damage the farm. So blue has got the kind of farm advantage, but and has like those actions, right? But red has what does red have? Red has space control. So the question is, can red just kind of box blue in? Uh, so this feels like a good sort of move here. Uh, I mean, you could do one, two, you could either freeze like this, or you could just destroy, right? Destroy kind of seems like a better option. But you just kind of use two actions, you know, and blue could like replace that with one, right? Not great. Plus, plus what? Plus, I don't know. Uh, uh, plus, uh, blue's happy to trade actions, right? Even one for one, because blue is going to have 6 actions per turn. So yeah. Uh, Yeah, this is pretty solid. Uh, it's a pretty solid defense from blue. Uh, so one other idea I had, though, maybe it's not even worth mentioning now, is something like this. So, uh, okay, so like either this or this. Probably this one. Okay. So another kind of option I want to explore as red is maybe we'll look at it for kind of the other case when blue goes up here. But in this case, one thing that red could do is 1, 2, and then 3, 4. So starting this kind of boxing an idea. Yeah, so that's pretty scary looking. Okay. Because so what's the idea? The idea is this blue nobility is basically useless. Well, I mean, to what extent, right? Because you could technically go 2 actions over here, right? And that's your 2 action advantage. But I mean, look, 1, 2. You have 4 actions with which to kind of start approaching. Yeah. So okay. Um, Another approach from here in general is go straight for the actions, right? So something like, but yeah, what I was going to say is another idea is blue goes over here. Then blue is pretty much guaranteed safety and could start building build range over here, right? And then once blue builds build range, that's pretty strong. You know, right? Because you have both the actions and the build range. But this actually, either one of these ideas actually leaves this open to attack, right? Bam, bam, destroy. So that's not great. Okay. So my question, because this kind of looks like the better opening still, right? Is what's the worst that red could do in terms of walling? Like 1, 2, 3 is an idea, right? Or you could just purely wall, right? Instead of these 2. Yeah, that might be a better thought as red. Something like this. And now it's starting to get scary for blue. So I think that's how I would play both sides from here, honestly. So blue could start building outwards here. So for example, 1, 2. The scary thing for blue really is that 3, 4, maybe 5. Scary thing for blue really is that if both of these kind of flanks get, if this piece gets frozen, and if the piece over here, if there's a piece over here, if it gets frozen, then that's it, right? Because you can't really kind of go beyond, like, right? This can't build far enough, right? So you're kind of walking out, using all your actions to walk out, only to get frozen again. It's generally not great. Um, uh, Red pretty much has. So where could red place things? So 1, 2, 3. 6. So anywhere along here up to where? Up to right here, red could place things. And pretty much destroy a target that's 2 away from that, because you could go mercenary, destroy. You could also go like 1, 2, no, sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, army, and then destroy, right? Just get into here. That's probably the scariest, actually, but really all that's denied with a single rebel. So what am I talking about? So I mean, it sucks that you lose an action, but rebel here is pretty good. Or could you ignore that? Can you ignore that? I mean, do you want to ignore it? Even if you can. All good questions. Probably. So what's the response to this? To something like this? The response is blue goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an idea, completely ignoring it. And red can't do too much. Well, I mean, you could destroy this, and then, but then the idea is that kind of going around with this one mercenary who can only build, make armies and player-specific guards, and only has a range of 1. Isn't great. You could walk over here and try building other things, but that's like kind of too little, too late, right? Yeah. So this attack's not good. Really, really, red's on the defensive here, right? From this situation. I mean, you could try to do the same thing. Well, this nobility's guarded, right? But I think you do have one more. You could place it 2, 3, and then destroy. But destroying it doesn't do much, right? So really, you're kind of on the defensive. Okay, let's hypothetically say that we placed a vote here instead of there, right? Then you could start thinking about walling in yourself. Or maybe getting more actions. What could blue do from this position? By the way, blue didn't actually use all their actions, because blue still has one more action. I was actually debating whether or not to. Well, this side is blue, but so if we're blue in this position, we probably try. I mean, this doesn't hurt, but I think we could afford to be more aggressive. Because of the line that we saw, right? Like that blue was, pretty firmly winning, right? So what's the play from blue? Well, what's the attacking line? I mean, you could always go place and then move, right? Maybe we'll go right here just to get some more space, right? So now blue is threatening to destroy this in 4 actions, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Yep. So that's pretty scary. So again, blue's response was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, like that. And 5 and then 6. Yeah, so red kind of feels like they're on the defensive. So how much spare actions does blue have? Is the question. Well, look, blue could go 1, 2, 3, 4. So in order just to live until next turn, in order for this nobility to live until next turn, we have to force blue to spend what, 3 actions? That's a lot, right? Uh, you know, you might think, oh, why don't you just wall? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, destroy. That's why. It's tough. You're also beside a road, so you have all this space to build those 3. Wait, sorry. Technically 1, 2, 3, right? So if you fill in 2 of them, yeah, well then it's true that if you fill in, so what could you do? If you go like 1, 2, 3, for example, I think that starts to force blue to use more actions at this point, right? Yeah, like, but you just traded an action and a half for 1 action. So now we're getting blue to use 5 actions. This is all assuming we don't want blue to destroy us here. But it's tough, right? Because like, I think one approach. I've been thinking of is, because that was like this. 1, 2, 3. It's a bit of a stretch to start trying to make farms right now. And then, but see, just to take away an action, we have to, well, no, okay, we could take away an action with a freeze, right? You know what, this is generally pretty good. If we do a freeze is pretty good, except like a freeze right here, maybe? Yeah, so this is a nice move because it eats up 1 action no matter what. From blue, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Eats up 1 action no matter what. Then if you unfreeze, you could still do 1, 2, 3, right? So that doesn't, the fact that it's blocking, what am I saying? I'm saying if you put one of these here, you could still do 3 mercenaries and destroy. So we got blue to 5. I think something like this 1 and 2. 2 actions like that. That gets blue to 6, I think, just to destroy this one. So I think red could live here. And live okay. Why did I place this here? Well, I don't know, just to get some player-specific pieces on the board other than your original nobility. So 1, 2. So I think now blue has to use all 6 moves just to destroy this one. Right? Because unfreeze, move. You know, mercenary, destroy. There's probably ways to finish them all actually, because you could do unfreeze, move, barracks. Oh, is that 5 really? 4, 5. Oh boy, it's still 5. Okay. I think we'll okay, so the rebel was good. The rebel was good. Taking this spot is good. You could also start blocking with farms. That's an idea. Right? Like that. It's probably still 6, right? Because you go 1, 2, no, not even. 1, yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3. What is that, 5? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's actually hard to deny. Right? Because look, even if, because you'd have to wall a lot just to prevent that, honestly, because so it looks like we're walling just to get rid of this army threat, because the army seems strong actually here. Yeah, why not use the army? Because mercenaries, you need 1 more each, right? But whereas armies, you have to spend an action to build something. This is an interesting idea, right? Because, okay, for example, if you want to mess up nobility over here, right? Is it faster to do it with mercenaries or armies? Well, mercenaries is 1, 2, 3, 4, but army could be 1. Army could be faster. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Army's actually faster in a lot of cases. Hold on. So what I realized is that sometimes most effective way to use an army, because when you place an ability, right? You could make the army like, oops, wrong color army. you can make the army go ahead of yourself, right? So this actually saves time. So sometimes it's good to not have really good build range because and instead place a forward. So the key is that you want that gap in front of you, right? So doing this instead as your first action is kind of interesting, right? Because then you're pretty much guaranteed this gap in front of you, right? And then, so if you did that instead, 1, 2, 3, 4 would be, I think, losing. Oh no. Uh, no, it's fine. Maybe it might be fine because 2, 3, and then 4. Is that losing? Well, I mean, it's pretty good, right? Look at that. Um, from blue, you still have 6 actions. So you could go 1, 2, 3 if you wanted to deal with that. And then you have 3 actions from here. Yeah, so that's kind of a fun fight. Well, what if you didn't do that? Well, this is frozen. And this doesn't look like it's getting frozen. So it kind of feels like your only option. So it kind of feels like this opening isn't good, then isn't safe for blue, right? Especially if red opens like this. That's crazy. That's a good opening for red. Like that. Um, it's something. I mean, of course, we could start playing around with different ideas, but you wouldn't think that this situation is better for red than this one right here, right? Okay, so we're kind of back to this position really, because kind of have to be, right, to figure out how to deal with this. So assuming that we still want 4 farms, had the idea, I'm just really expressing one idea, and it's something like this. So again, filling that gap in front. So red idea might be, let's go off to the side. I don't know why I go to the side. Yeah. I'm afraid of attacks over here, but I don't know if it matters. We can move this later. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is an idea. So how strong is that, do we think? So one thought is that this might actually get into like a pretty precise, pretty scrappy, like, army barrack space battle, right? I suppose red could always extend their range and get in closer, right? But it kind of feels like you're mostly just going to be trying to push armies over here, right? Yeah, this nobility is really cool. Yeah. So what do we got from blue? One idea I was having is doing that same, like, giving space. It's 1, 2, 3. Now I'm thinking maybe blue could be a little. So you could either try to freeze everything. That usually goes, so-so. I think destroying the army is nice. 6. Wait, is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, go with that. So reds. So if we're gonna go for like a pure army response, it's you don't want to place here because you'll get frozen. So it's 1 and 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's not bad. I mean, takes out an action, I suppose. Plus freezes your initial nobility. That might be a good move. Honestly, might be a good move, right? Because you don't want to. I mean, that's a lot of investment. This trades. I mean, you could start thinking about building farms of your own. So you could even build 2 farms here if you want to. Not really the full town approach, but honestly, in the other line that we were seeing, I was like ready to start like giving like a full proof that that red couldn't win there, right? It seemed to yeah, that wasn't looking good. Of course, what are we giving up in this situation? We're giving up like the build range. We're also giving up really. Are we giving up on walling blue? This is a bit awkward because it's like using both both a town and a barracks. It's far away, right? So if you build like a wall over here, that's not bad. Although building a wall there is. So I'm thinking, for example, blue goes barracks, barracks, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I guess it's fine. But like starting to town. I guess it's still pretty safe. Yeah, walling's an idea. This was an idea. My other idea was, like I was saying, like a scrappy 2, 3, 4 something, but blue still has 6 actions, so you just kind of lose that army fight, right? I honestly like something like this, even though it trades actions when blue has more. I mean, this was fun, but it's starting to look. Okay, well, what are the threats right now? Threats are, so even with this, blue actually wins the game, like from this position, because blue goes, guard this somehow, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's not great. You could wall a little bit. You could do this as well. It's using up 2 actions. Uh, 3. 4 is an idea. I don't know if I like that push. What about this? Is this bad for red? So that's only 2 actions used. So if we determine that this isn't horrible for red, we could think about how to use those other 2 actions. 2 actions isn't enough to actually start gaining farms, but no, it is. Right? Because we could put farm. Yep. Farm or an initial nobility is an idea. Yeah. It kind of feels like, if you made this attack, you want to push it. Hmm. Mind you, this was the initial response from blue. So we could try different things over here. So what did we achieve so far as red? Well, we made a threat and got denied. And there's some nobility in our face. We could freeze everything wall. We could freeze everything, make farms. What threat is actually coming from blue? Well, not too much. I mean, yeah, not too much actually. Yeah, we could ignore blue. Can we ignore blue? We can't ignore blue. No, can we? Wait, can we ignore blue? No, right? Because of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Yeah, so it only takes 5. But if we fill that with farms or anything really, could we try to win this game without building farms? I think building farms from here might be a good idea. 1, 2. Fill that gap, and really you only need to control space up to here. And then the idea is that, like four towns is a lot better than 2. But then of course, right, if blue kind of recovers and just builds towns here, then what's the point? Uh, we can do 1, 2, 3. I'm hesitant about building towns over here. uh, this idea of uh, putting a lot of abilities is kind of fun. 4. Oh, not the right piece. One, 2, 3. Right. Uh, So kind of like our initial idea of, but instead not going all the way. That seems kind of losing. You know, blue could wipe all this out. The idea was not to overcommit here. You could even do 1, 2, 3. And just pressure more. 4. Yeah, I'll try thinking about this. Yeah, so of course feels better for blue here. Because you just have a ton of actions. You really doesn't matter too much what you do, I think. Obviously this is a good spot to place the neutral guard. I think it's good to, like, you know, rather than to go approach from a flank, you really just make a mess out of the situation and you'll be fine. Don't deny yourself too much build range. You're looking at this going, why are we giving this one, you know, build range? You know, it's because we're going to freeze it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What can we do? One idea is to make sure this isn't frozen. Another idea is to just build nobilities. Kind of like that. So like over here. Then they could be frozen at once. But shouldn't really matter, right? Or build yeah, we'll do that, I think. Because even if you get frozen, you get guard, and then yeah. Ooh, so there's a slick move right here. 1, so freezes this as well. Freezes and gives the range to go over here. 2, 3, giving lots of range to this, also giving yourself range. Prevents yourself from being frozen, sort of. And 4. Pretty slick, I think. That might win that side for red. Maybe the play from blue wasn't great. Like I was saying, like, oh, you could do anything for blue. Just look at this. But that's a pretty slick. Because what does blue do? Right. I guess I didn't anticipate both of these being frozen. I'm kind of playing it in favor of red. Because honestly, I feel like it should be blue's win here. But I guess it's hard too, honestly. Yeah, it's hard for red. Even with that side lost, right? Like, does red have any threats? Not really. No, not at all. So 1, you know, you just play this straightforward game. 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want, you could actually change things to mercenaries. And then just start blasting everything. But yeah, I was gonna do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then something like 6 should be all right. Like what's red gonna do? I guess what build for? I mean, yeah, you have things here, so you could 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Is red in danger here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, red's in danger. But what are you gonna do? I think you start getting actions. Uh, so you start getting actions. 1, 2, and then. Okay, wait. Remember the gap rule? So how much does this actually take? Right. Blue. This is 1. You could even move up if you want. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So you save a move like that. Save an action. Uh. 1, 2, 3. Kind of feels like this all has to be walled. It's the only way. Okay, do we have use for one more wall? And you were over here. Is that really a good idea? I mean, what are you gonna do? One more wall. Honestly, at this point, might as well. Right? So if you wall this heavily, you get to keep it. Right? So you want to keep that range because that's what you have going for you. 6 from blue. By the way, this is not frozen. No, I mean, what does it actually do? You just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you go 1, 2, right? 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Then what? When you have something, yeah. You have that, and then you do have 5 actions now instead of 4. It feels like you lose though if you give that up. I know. Gonna do that. Is that actually good? Looks so silly, right? This looks silly from red. So blue can go. I think it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Just go around it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. You know, the funny thing is, I think it might be strong for red. Why? Because of this. One. You just gave all that to. Still, 3 is not that much. Oh. 2, 3, 4. Then what? Then you basically win. Uh, Five. Yeah, that's victory. Yeah, that's winning for red. Oof. Yeah, that's fun. Well, I mean, I kind of thought. Wait, what just happened? Was it the other way? Yeah, because we placed that there. Yeah, it was something like this, and then this was over here, like that, right? And then we went. This was new, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is whatever. So maybe we don't make that exact move as blue. It's all because of the swell. Yeah, gotta think is something else, I guess. Okay, so what about 1, 2? Walls don't do much if you could walk around them. 3, 4, 5. Something like this. 6. Yeah. Then we could have 1. Seems kind of tough. 1, 2. Then you're unfreezing that. Okay. 3 and giving him this. Yeah. Don't know about that one. You have 2 actions, but yeah, seems a little tricky. So 5 from here as red. Yeah, anyways, so it's a bit technical as blue, I think. but I think you generally have the advantages. Is my gut feeling is that um, farm, four farms beats pure towns, but pure towns is yeah, pure towns is pretty fun. And if four farms doesn't know exactly how to manage space, then they could certainly get themselves into a lot of trouble. Um, yeah, it's really tempting when you have the action advantage to kind of use it poorly. Even me, I probably could have played better as blue. I just kind of spent actions at different points and said, oh, you could do whatever, right? I think we'll at least briefly look at the other way around, like what happens if blue goes with towns and red goes with farms. Okay. So is this safe? 1, 2, 3, 4. It is. Yeah, this is good. Kind of could have expected that. So what does blue do? 1, 2. Is blue in trouble? I don't think so. One, two, three, four is threatening. I guess maybe 3. So we could do that. We could do that as well. These are ideas. We could move it one further ahead. It's also an idea. Or we could, instead of doing this, get one more range, but it's probably like maybe a 4 later thing. Because red could wall here. So that guard there is seems not great. Maybe this is good. And then if red chooses to freeze, then you neutral guard yourself. So what's what's red's response? So 6 actions, which is great. 2, 3, 4. So you could definitely choose to freeze. 5. See, I'm squandering actions. 1, 2, 3. May as well put it here, I think. 4, 5. I think something like this is fine. 6. It says blue wall. Blue could go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 2. Oh, well. Problem is that doesn't save you, actually. You basically have to wall right away. Yeah, 3 walls and a 3 walls and a. I mean, it's some range. It's not great range, and you just spent 3 actions doing nothing. Like if you just full wall yourself to. Okay, this takes 4 actions to deal with. Maybe we could do this instead. Maybe this is fine. So that's 4 actions still. Uh, three. If you do this, you might be safe. 4. There's a chance that you're safe. If red can't build anything here. It seems unlikely though. Because you could even neutral guard it. So yeah, that's just the neutral. You just rebel. So 1, 2, 3, 4 road and then 5. Yeah. So nope, that won't do. Sorry, that won't do. You know, we could go heavy on the freezing. But that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Seems kind of tough. I don't want to fill these spots in. What if we do 1, 2, that like that? Okay. And like that. Kind of seems not good either. Because you go road neutral guard 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Like that. That literally just takes 1 more action. Like that. Yeah. Because it's just another action in order to get the guard a little further, right? So you could just extend this range a little more. Oh, you could freeze that one, maybe. Is that good? Is that any good? Then it's just neutral guard, town 1, 2, unfreeze is 3, 4, 5. Like this perhaps? No, of course there's nothing. right? It's even worse. Yeah. I mean, you don't need all that range, and you instead of all that range, you do this. Surely you're safe then, right? Well, this is open. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so from here, one, uh, two, three, four, five, six. You're safe. You're safe. What was it? It was this one. This one we're gone. Yeah, you're safe. You're actually safe. At least from that. What if you do one, two, three, and three army, five, six. Nope, still not safe. Yep. Yeah. So those extra actions pay off pretty well. So perhaps it's just maybe unviable to do all towns and not go for farms. Uh, yeah, that's interesting. I think next time maybe we'll try half farm, half town. Yeah, there's also the idea of having like building armies, from the start. That's also an idea. It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit slower than towns are, but might be stronger in some ways. We'll see. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this kind of analysis of. Um, yeah, I mean, of course, it's nothing conclusive, but it feels like farms are a good thing, at least in this kind of board. Farms from the start, at least better than no farms at all. I'm not convinced what happens between like I suspect two farms and and three towns will be pretty strong, but we'll see. Okay. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed.